Hi everyone, and welcome to Lovefraud Live. Lovefraud once received a series of questions from a reader. He wrote, I am trying to understand what the sociopath is feeling. Do they feel love? Do they love? What hurts a sociopath? How can you communicate with a sociopath? The problem in dealing with sociopaths is that they are so fundamentally different from the rest of us that the extent of their difference is truly difficult to comprehend until you've had a close encounter with one of them. I'm Donna Andersen, author of Lovefraud.com, and today I'm going to talk about a sociopath's feelings, or more accurately, their lack of feelings. This is a live streaming show, and I'll answer your questions at the end. So please go ahead and send them by chat as we go along. Okay, back to the questions. We'll look at each of them individually. But first, to clarify, when I talk about sociopaths, I am using the word as an umbrella term to cover several exploitative and manipulative personality disorders, including antisocial, narcissistic, borderline, histrionic, and psychopathic personality disorders. Now, in answering the questions tonight, I am referring specifically to people who have antisocial, narcissistic, or psychopathic personality disorders. Okay, the first question is, do they feel love? The short answer is no. In order to feel love, a person must be able to feel empathy. Sociopaths do not feel empathy for other people. Those of us who are capable of empathy may feel joy when a friend has a baby, or want to help disaster victims by sending a donation, or cry when a family member passes away. A sociopath does not have an emotional reaction to any of these scenarios. Whether it's due to genetic makeup or a traumatic upbringing or both, when it comes to feeling emotional connections to other people, sociopaths simply don't get it. They do, however, know that by simulating an emotional reaction or creating an emotional reaction in another person, they can get what they want. So they fake it. They mouth the words, I love you. If you realize that the person is a terrible romantic partner and you want to end your involvement, they plead, I don't want to lose you, with tears running down their cheeks for good measure. It is all an act. A sociopath may be telling you that he or she loves you. What this person really means is that he or she wants whatever supply you are providing. So here's how you can think of it. The sociopath wants you like a hot new Lexus. You're useful to the sociopath like reliable transportation. You may make the sociopath look good, providing a status symbol or the appearance of normalcy. The only reason a sociopath may be upset if you leave is because he or she does not want to part with a possession. Okay. Question number 2. What does a sociopath feel? A psychology researcher, Dr. Robert Hare, wrote the first book that I ever read about psychopaths, which is called Without Conscience. In it, he identified one of the key symptoms of the disorder as shallow emotions. Here's what he wrote. Psychopaths seem to suffer from a kind of emotional poverty that limits the range and depth of their feelings. While at times they appear cold and unemotional, they are prone to dramatic, shallow, and short-lived displays of feeling. Psychopaths can feel anger and rage, but it typically doesn't last very long and it has no depth. Many people are mystified by the way in which psychopaths, antisocials, and narcissists can turn their emotions on and off. For example, The Lovefraud reader who asked the questions that I'm addressing in this video also included a story about his ex-wife. Here's what he wrote. We met with a court mediator during our divorce proceedings. After accusing me of the most horrible things that you can imagine, once away from the mediator, she broke down and cried hysterically, asking, "Why are you doing this to me?" 10 minutes later, she was bubbly and acting for the judge. So, what do psychopaths feel? Dr. J. Royd Malloy, another psychopathy researcher, wrote that they often feel contemptuous delight when they have successfully deceived someone. He also noted that they frequently feel boredom, which then prompts them to aggressively find some new type of stimulation, such as someone new to manipulate. So, psychopaths, antisocials, and narcissists can feel anger, rage, contempt, and boredom, but not love, fear, remorse, gratitude, reverence, grief, joy, or other emotions based on human connection. Here's question number 3. What hurts a sociopath? Well, nothing really. Sociopaths do not experience hurt feelings as the rest of us do. Now, they can certainly pretend to be hurt, but it's, again, all an act designed to manipulate you into doing what they want. Now, this is an important concept for anyone who is trying to break free of a sociopath. If you are ending a relationship, there is no reason to be nice. You do not have to try to let the sociopath down slowly or gently. Just say it's over and leave. Better yet, send a text that says it's over and then block his or her phone number. Then maintain a policy of no contact. You cannot hurt a sociopath's feelings. He or she doesn't have any. It's also important to understand this when you are so angry and hurt by the sociopath that you want to lash out and make him or her feel as badly as you do. It's not going to work. Sociopaths simply do not have the capacity to feel pain at the end of a relationship. Instead, they will feel satisfaction that they've upset you, which to them means that they still have control over you. Finally, here's question number 4. How can you communicate with a sociopath? Understand that a sociopath looks at every interaction with another person as an opportunity for manipulation. Therefore, your best policy with a sociopath is no contact at all. But if you must communicate with a sociopath, always be on mental red alert. Sociopaths lie. They tell big lies, little lies, stupid lies. Anything a sociopath says to you may be a lie, or at best, a twisting of the truth. Furthermore, anything you say to the sociopath, any information that you provide, can and will be used against you. So, here are some tips for communicating with a sociopath. First, provide as little information as possible. Second, document everything. Get communications in writing. If you are communicating verbally, have a witness. Third, do not trust. Verify. Fourth, be explicit and lay down the law. If the sociopath violates any terms, there must be consequences. Let's summarize. Antisocials, narcissists, and psychopaths do not feel empathy or fear. Empathy and fear are the basic components of remorse and guilt, so they don't feel those emotions either. What does all this mean? Sociopaths do not have the capacity to care about other people. They do not feel obliged to comply with society's rules. They cannot be trusted to do the right thing. They have no morals. So, what are sociopaths feeling? Emptiness. That's their true nature. Okay, so let's take a look at the questions that we have here today. And also remember, if you ever need consultation on your personal situation, I can help you with that. There's information in the window below the video window. So let's see what we have. Well, we have lots of comments, but no questions. Does anybody have a question that you'd like me to address? Please go ahead and send it. It can be really hard to come to grips with the idea of the total lack of feelings that sociopaths have. And it's one of the hardest things to come to terms with when you realize that you've been involved with a sociopath. But it's true. I mean, essentially, they are missing the capacity to feel, to care about another person's well-being, and to just be the same way that we are in their relationships. So, take another check here. Sylvia says, wow, they are monsters. It is still so hard to realize that some people are like that. It hurts. They make you lose faith in humanity. This is true, but the important thing to realize is that sociopaths certainly are not all of humanity. The numbers are approximately 12% of the population. So you do have to be careful about 12% of the population, which in the United States adds up to about 30 million adults. But that still means that 88% of the population are normal and do have the capacity to be human. And so once you know that they're out there and you know that there are 12% of the population, when you start to see the warning signs, you can avoid them. And by the same token, when somebody is part of the 88%, there's still humanity left in the world, and you can count on that. So the idea is to be able to develop the judgment to figure out and discern which people are disordered and which are not. Okay. All right. Well, looks like you're all catching on because there's no questions tonight. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week at Lovefraud Live, 8 o'clock on Tuesday. Good night now.